Hi everyone. This is the third question in the SAT geometry prep. So let's start with this. This question is very common in geometry. So let's read this out. The perimeter of an isosceles right triangle is 18 plus 18 root 2 inches. What is the length in inches of the hypotenuse of this triangle? Okay, so we are having an isosceles triangle, a right isosceles triangle. So let's draw that first. And let's name this triangle ABC. And now we know that since it's an isosceles triangle, so two of its sides are going to be equal. So if this is x, then this is also going to be x. And then this is going to be root 2x. This we can easily find by using the Pythagorean theorem, because in Pythagorean theorem we know that the opposite squared plus the adjacent side squared is equal to the hypotenuse squared, right? So x squared plus x squared will be equal to the square of the hypotenuse. That means 2x squared is equal to hypotenuse squared. And that means if I take the square root of the hypotenuse, which is AC in our diagram, so I'll write AC squared, just replacing the h squared with AC squared. So I'll take the square root on both sides. So I'll get square root of 2x squared is equal to AC. And that means AC is equal to root 2, and the square root of x squared is just x. Although it should be a plus minus, but I'm not writing that because we will only consider the positive sign here, as the side length can never be negative. That's why we are only taking the positive value of AC here. So that's why I have written AC is equal to root 2x. Now, in the question, it is given that this perimeter is equal to 18 plus 18 root 2. So we know that the perimeter is the sum of all the three sides. So we will add all these three sides, x plus root 2x, which is equal to 18 plus 18 root 2. Now let's simplify this. X plus x is going to be 2x, and then plus root 2x is equal to 18 plus 18 root 2. Okay. Now after this, you can see here that we have x and root 2 common on the left hand side. So I'm going to take root 2x as the common factor. And we know that root 2 times root 2 is equal to 2. So if I have taken root 2 outside, for this term, I'll be left with just root 2 inside. Root 2 and x we have taken outside, so inside I'll have just root 2. And for the second term, I'll just have plus 1 inside the parenthesis. And here on the right hand side also, we have 18 common in both the terms, so we'll take that outside, and then I'll have 1 plus root 2 here as well. And I can rearrange the terms and I can write it as 18 times root 2 plus 1. Now, if we compare and like if we see the left hand side and the right hand side here, we can clearly see that root 2 plus 1 is a common factor here. So root 2 plus 1 will go on the other side in division. So it will basically become 1, and this term on both the side will eliminate eventually. So now we are just left with root 2x equals 18. So sending the root 2 to the other side in division, and if we further simplify it and rationalize the denominator, so we will get 18 root 2 over 2 when we multiply both the numerator and denominator with root 2. And then 18 divided by 2 is 9. So x is equal to 9 root 2. But the question was that we needed to find the hypotenuse. So we know that the hypotenuse is root 2x. That means root 2 times the value of x, that is 9 root 2, which is equal to 18. So that's our final answer.